Hello, viewers. I'm SB,
And I'm
and
Amabel.
welcome back to Amabel Goes to 4X School, where we're just playing some Total War Warhammer, talking shit about the battle system and also the Livonian Order. I heard they have a rhyming chronicle, Amabel.
The Livonian Rhine Chronicle is one of my least favorite historical stories.
Okay.
Anglo-Saxon
Yeah,
Chronicle?
that's a
It's all
pretty good
right.
chronicle.
It's all right. It's all right. It's not the Kogad.
Well,
The
obviously.
Kogad
People are always saying that.
is my favorite medieval primary source. It has so many adjectives. It's so over the top. That's where Brian Boru kills one guy, kills 100 men with his left hand, 100 men with his right hand.
Okay.
That's the shit right there.
I
Anglo-Saxon Chronicles,
I
all
love the
right.
fact that you have a favorite chronicle.
Livonian Rhyme
I love the
Chronicle,
fact that
no
that's where
good.
your life has put you. Anyway, we're going to take Kislev. We're going to take Kislev. We're going to resolve some of this quest back up. And at some point, select a target for our next walk. I really don't know what I want to do with this. I don't know if we have a limited amount of time for this. But in the meantime, while we are waiting on the walk, we have just a shit ton of reputation and all these bonuses. And it's nice to sit here on top of all these bonuses. So for now, we're just enjoying that. I do want to go get Kislev, so let's make a move in that direction. I'm going to stay inside of our territory,
Okay.
and we're going to Raiden Camp. Raiden Camp doesn't actually seem to do anything. Never mind. I don't know. I'm just going to stay inside my territory. That's all. Mostly is what we're doing.
All right.
Because I want to keep getting friendly. I want to keep getting replenishment. But we now have enough movement from here. We'll be able to hit Kislev next turn. Grievance is building back up inside of there. They don't have any real defensive structures. Yeah, it's kind of annoying that he's in there rebuilding his army right now. It's just inconvenient for us. We're saving up money because we're going to have to do a lot of upgrades and stuff in real short order. And Waaagh, I think... So let's talk about the Masters of Innovation. I don't really know much about this faction, but they're on our border, and I'm getting a little nervous. They're at war with Clan Mulder. They are strength rank 40. They only have 5 settlements. You're the challengers of Corn. Okay. I was trying to get a sense of who might make sense as our next WAAG target, you know?
Yeah.
And they're in kind of the right direction for our objectives. As a reminder, our short campaign victory requires us to own the northern World's Edge Mountains, which we do. Peak Pass down here, which is where Carrick Cadron is. We got that. Ostland, which is the territory of Castle von Rocken and Norden and Wolfenberg. Those are out here. We have to own this whole area.
Okay.
So that's a little annoying. Ostermark, which is the territory described by Bekoffen down to Essen and Mordheim and Nagenhof, which is there. So that's going to be, I guess we're going to be fighting the Wargrove of Woe. How tough are you? Strength rank 68. We can probably just take them. We don't need the WAAG for this, but this might be what we use it for.
That makes sense to me. Are you doing that before you get
Oh,
your
absolutely not. Well, I hope not.
Okay.
But what I'm trying to do is figure out what Waagh's job is right now. And I think Waagh's job is, let's go figure out where their armies are and what they look like.
Okay.
So we'll run past this settlement and look for their stuff. So I know they're capitaled in the Gryphon Wood. There are basically 7 magic forests. Most of them
Okay.
sort of small little single settlement affairs like this, with obviously extremely good and powerful building opportunities for the forest spirit type factions. And then, of course, there's Athelored, the biggest and most important of them, over here. Obviously, everybody knows that. But for us, this is just kind of this is garbage territory. Magical Forest is an uninhabitable climate. You can see trying to live here has all these penalties. Is a thing we may have to burn down at some point. But so I would expect them, because they're going to be heavily based around the Gryphon Wood, I would expect their armies to be in this area. And it does show them at about the same level of strength that we're currently at, so we're expecting them to have more than one fall army. We just kind of don't have any idea where they're at right now.
The thing that's cool about Chronicles, is a lot of them, are written like they're being written as things are happening, or like at the end of the year, recounting the events of that year, and they don't know what's going to be important yet. So you get stuff about battles and kings dying and people arriving, and then also like in the woods, a dude ate some people, and like that's just in that history. And I think that's rad. I think that's neat. Not someone eating people, but just that, like, it's just, here's a bunch of shit that happened this year. I don't know if it is important yet. We'll find out. I'm trying to time my history corner for the loading screens and this moment. So we'll see how I'm.
So I brought up the Livonians and the Chronicles and whatnot, mostly as a way of distracting you from how funny you thought it was before the episode when I mentioned the city of Becoffin and you said, Becoffin these nuts. Which, once again, has just absolutely fully disabled you. How you doing over there, sweetie? Discord is not letting most of that through, but I can hear it through the floor because you're in the room of the house on the floor below me, and it's happening loudly enough. Okay, so Grievance is at war with the tree folk. It's not good. Here's what I'm thinking. He just started another army. His troops are mostly pretty crappy. These are savage orcs. So savage orcs don't wear armor or clothing at all, basically. But they do have a natural physical resistance, and also they all have frenzy. This is sort of the offset, Our troops are sufficient to dispatch this threat, I think. I think we're going to be okay, even though they are masked up. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to our friends in the Gryphon Wood. We're going to offer to step in against the Blue Vipers. You got a problem, I got a solution if you have 2,237 gold. And they do. Love that money. All right, let's go fuck some shit up. Now, we're not the healthiest we've ever been. We're not in the best shape. And maybe I'm starting to get overconfident because things have been going so well. But I'm gonna start by going at this extra army that they've spawned. I'm expecting a retreat here. They are in fact suggesting that they will just come at us, and we'll win the auto resolve. Now, see here, because we attacked the settlement, we attacked the army outside the settlement. We could lightning strike and have our whole army against just this guy, just Drog Spear Thrower.
I mean, that's pretty
and that is pretty funny. Casualties medium. But here's what I think. For the sake of just getting this over with, let's just take the auto-resolve victory. We're going to lose Boar Boys, but I think we were going to fire our Boar Boys anyway.
Okay.
And then we'll get to the cool battles faster.
Okay, yeah, because contractually, each episode you have to do at least one battle.
Not okay. I didn't sign anything to that effect. This is going to be, to be clear, this would be a pretty uninteresting force to fight. It's mostly these Savage Orcs. You can see a lot of units of Savage Orcs. Savage Orc Error Boys, which have bows, but they're extremely bad at shooting. Mostly what they do is, provide that that morale penalty for being shot at. I'm just going to take, we'll just take the auto-resolve victory here. It turns out we crushed them all as they entered the battlefield, all discombobulated into dense catapult fire. And, we get it done the way we get it done. Not very orky, but with the scheming and the magic and the catapults. And then I'm going to eat some captives here because we took a lot of damage. I need to replenish some health. So, we just defeated a war boss, Amabel. Griebitz Bootlicka, leader of the Blue Vipers tribe, has been defeated. The Greenskins tribal hierarchy is brutal but simple. Bash in enough heads and take enough loot, and sooner or later you're going to get some mobs and become a war boss. Beat up another war boss in battle, his mobs become yours too, since loyalty is a concept that neither orcs nor goblins really care for. Be aware that subjugating another war boss and his tribe also means taking over their territory, leading to a larger empire to oversee. Okay, so we can force a confederation now, just we get all their stuff because we killed their leader's army in battle. We can execute the warlord and take a hit with the faction, but the thing is, this faction's about to stop existing, so it's not really meaningful. And we're about to take the thing over as it is. So I'm just going to form a confederation with them, because this won't damage the buildings that are already in Kislev, I believe.
Okay.
It becomes ours without us having to battle it. Okay, a confederation, technically, is what happened. It's not a very built-up settlement, sadly. But we knew we were going to the global recruitment pool anyway, right? That's part of the reason I saved up a bunch of money before doing this. So, like I said, we're going to finish Insane Visions and then Darkest Nimbus, which is such a good skill. It's a shame we're not going to have it for the quest battle, but it's fine. Smash him faster. It's all very good. Actually, how close is he to a level? You know what? We might get enough passive XP while recruiting the spider to get Darkest Nimbus right as the big fight's about to start. So, yeah, I guess this is our moment. First of all, hooray, great news. We took over a settlement that is critical for our success. Let's talk about this army. So we have access to a whole lot of things now in the global recruitment pool. I really, really, really want a big fucking spider. So I am committing us to sitting still in this settlement for 4 turns. Okay?
Okay.
We have access to 2 more global recruitment slots. And also the local recruitment pool, which doesn't, sadly, have very much in it. Do we want to make any other changes to this army while we're doing this? I'm pretty happy with our 4 sets of rock lobbers. I think that's the right amount. It feels good to me.
Right number.
Yeah. I don't know that we need these boar boys. We're not really doing, like, they're kind of in an awkward spot in this army. It's cool in theory to have some, like, cavalry that you use to charge around and engage enemies from behind after they hit your stuff. But we can just do that with normal, like, orcs on foot, right? Like, I don't know that these guys' stats are good enough for the thing they're doing. I would rather, probably at the very least, just have normal, like, biggins doing that job. So that opens up another slot. Do we want to recruit, like, another monster? Do we want to recruit another unit of biggins in this slot? Do we want to... because we could grab a giant. We could grab another big spider. Big spiders is always fun. I'm a huge fan of the
No,
Arachnorok.
we don't have access to the fire Arachnorok.
We don't. That's a specialized unit. I believe you can't ever recruit those in a normal army.
Okay.
I think they only show up that one way.
Are you feeling spider?
Honestly, I am kind of feeling just like give me more spider. Because, like, it's a big scary monster and it fights big scary monsters and it has the poison. It's a good source of poison. I love big spider. And then, do we want to do any other changes. In 4 turns, all of the units that we have currently in our army will be fully replenished. So if we just sit here, we'll be all good at the time that the spiders finish recruiting, and then take this army to do our quests.
Yeah.
Do we love the forest goblin, spider, rider, archers? Do we need them? If we have these guys with the archer platforms on their back shooting poison and stuff, do we want to replace this with just more meat? Or perhaps some more specialized units or something. We could, like, grab 2 units of river trolls to replace them, perhaps, and just distribute stink mode over the army. How stinky are these guys? So, the swamp things here have the same overwhelming odor as everybody else. They have slimy shanks. Huh. I don't know. Oh, they have poison attack. Do normal river trolls don't have poison attack? Okay. So what makes this regiment of renowned infantry special is that it has poison. I do love poison.
I've noticed. Do you want to get rid of one of the archers and grab that?
I kind of think I want to get rid of both of them. I think these are low enough impact units, and now that we're replacing their ranged poison distribution thing with a different ranged poison distribution thing, like, I do kind of want to kick these guys out of the army and replace them with something new. And that something new could just be, you know, a unit of Biggins and another unit of river trolls. That would put us on 6 units of Biggins, plus the 3 black orcs. That's still like a lot of just like base heavy infantry. It's a lot of punching infantry. Okay, and we're gonna use the regiment of renown river trolls, so we don't even need to recruit those. We can just wait. Okay, so that's that set up. We still have a lot of money left over, and I did that on purpose too. I didn't think we were gonna get anywhere near spending everything, but we're about to have some big costs available, and I want to be sure that we're going to meet them. So 6 turns on that. Let's go ahead and make sure that I am upgrading the other important stuff around here. Vitevo has all this extra control. Right now, we're still at -2, partially from provincial instability, because, you know, there was a lot of things got conquered here.
Yeah.
I think we can probably remove this building and construct a defensive structure here, because it's just like right along the river, you know. Just make sure this whole area has defenses. And then we're starting to have enough income that we could expand Grognak Fostpike's army into a real force and start doing stuff on a second front.
I was wondering how long he was just gonna.
Well, our income wasn't really going up for a while, right? Like, we had to be careful. So here's what I think. Let's grab, for him, a giant, since we can grab giants in this area. A couple units of rock trolls. Stone trolls, rather. We'll start building out this army. We'll monster them up, and then we'll get some more basic troops in there soon. Now that we're going to, with this next level up, we're going to unlock 2 more slots in the settlement. That army will have a little bit more to grow off of, a little bit more stuff to recruit. The vampires took Essen. That does complicate things. You know who I don't want to end up in a war against is fucking Vlad von Karstein. Alright, try to kill this Waystalker. Murder! Ah! Oh, critical failure. Wounded self. Instructions unclear. Amabel, I don't think our people
Yeah.
are always the most conscientious.
No. They're not. They're not the.
I think our characters are too stupid to do their jobs almost without exception.
So I have a question for you. Maybe it's getting ahead of myself,
Okay.
but after this
Yeah.
campaign is done in however many episodes,
And we don't have to.
We're
We
doing
don't have to
another-
finish the whole thing if you don't. If you feel
we're
like.
doing another one of these.
I did
though.
want to show you at least one more faction to sort of like show you how different the faction rosters feel in use and how different the different sort of
So-
objective sets can be and stuff like that.
So I have two conflicting things.
Okay.
I want to see rats.
Sure.
But I also want to see people who are smarter or better at I don't know, research stuff and how that.
Hey, do you
how
remember that
is-
thing I was just saying?
Yeah.
The vampires of Sylvania
Yeah.
have entered their non-aggression pact with us. Boy, the red bar is sure full when we're looking at them. I think we might be recruiting our anti-vampire squad over here, actually. I'm a little concerned that we are going to be at war with these vampires soon. And indeed, Azhag really wants to go south. Not all that unusual for an orc brought up in troll country, after all. The squishiest humies and shiniest loot is in the Empire. But Azhag's top bosses know that's not why he wants to go south. Something else is pushing him to go that way. He's prone to bouts of staring into space or arguing with his magical crown. But when he snaps out of this, he's the old Azhag, intent on fighting and looting. In the southern Badlands, the primitive savage orcs gather to hinder his horde. The slaughterer needs to dominate these tribes, so forces the savage orcs, led by some git called Slaga, to acknowledge him. That's weirdly written. But if we come down here and we take Slaga's slashes, they're weapons. They're fine. They're fine. Yep. Whole ghettos or districts are left abandoned. Once again, Skaven are stealing the population of Carrick Cadron. Not a lot to be done about it, unfortunately. So, Zavastra is going to work on some of these very expensive upgraded buildings here. Also, maybe just a money-making structure would be a good idea, perhaps. Vitevo, I also want to build a defensive structure in Igorov. Set back into the mountains like this, I don't think it's so important to defend. It kind of takes care of itself by just being hard to reach. So one thing that I do want to do, we have a war boss over here who does not himself have access to magic, and so I do want to get him some magic. Now, giant river troll hags, which we do have access to thanks to our troll building, are certainly spellcasters. They cast with, I don't remember what the what their lore is. Hold on, how do I? The help pages is not what I want. There's a way to see this, but I don't remember what it is. Let me go to the building browser here. Yeah, that's not okay. So they do have magic. I was, of course, thinking, building a more traditional shaman building might also be good because we do have some bonus recruit rank for shamans from Azhag.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe a giant river troll hag is exactly the thing that is called for here. Let's hire one. Let's see. I don't know that I've played with these very much. So Masha Goat Plucka is a Braga. Bonus leadership and leadership aura size. Slimy Backstab is a big bully, giving recruit rank up for Biggins and Black Orcs. And Skraga Gutwrencher is intelligent, increasing the ambush defense chance of the army. Okay, I don't know. What do you think? Any of these really calling out to you?
I think one of the bottom two more than the top
Okay.
one, but I don't know which thing you want to lean into.
Well, let's go for Gutwrencher. Okay, so you have access to just the shadows, the same thing that Azag's going to have access to. I mean, that's a fine magic school. When embedded in an army, increases the replenishment of that parent army considerably. Just go ahead and throw you in there. Or sorry, next turn when you have some movement, I guess we'll do that. All right, is it next turn or no? It's still a few turns away. Then we can do the big upgrade here. For the moment, we're just kind of waiting on a bunch of things to complete, and hoping that we do not get murdered in the interim. Again, I am a little worried about the apparent increasing hostility of these vampires. I'll say one thing, if they are intent on declaring war on us, that does somewhat simplify the task of getting a hold of Essen. We just kill them and take it.
Yeah.
Granted, step one of that plan is non-trivial, but it's at least a path.
Also gives you target for your Waaagh.
Yeah. I'm sorry, say that again?
Also gives you a target for your Waaagh. Your Waaagh.
Close. You got to give it a little.
Also gives you a target for Bischoff and D's nuts.
She is completely sideways. Just she's not breathing, y'all. It's I wanted to hear a little bit of like orky, enthusiasm. Enthusiasm was all I was looking for.
But I'm not orky though, is the problem.
Okay, I mean that's true. That's certainly true. Zavastra can continue to produce more money. Every place in the Empire could be producing more money. All right, 2 turns left.
One time I rode on an orca though.
Okay.
That was something.
Cool. Thank you for that very relevant.
I was pretty scared.
All right, so
well, it sounds like orc.
what are we filling out the rest of this army with? Do we want to bring in Black Orcs and stuff? I mean, it's gonna be slow recruiting if we're building them up that way. If we back you up into Nashrak's lair, I guess, yeah, this is the thing we can do, right? I can push recruitment to the Black Orc building here. We can just have you guys wait, basically. Alright, join up the army. Yeah, and then we can fall back to Nashrak's lair when it's time to recruit the base of our melee forces. So, Karak Kadrin's ready to level up. It's going to eat up the rest of that money. And then Karak Ungor, in 4 turns, we're going to need to have saved up another 8,500. This is a time of great economic redevelopment, which unfortunately is a pretty mathy, sort of low violence moment in the Empire's history.
I understand. That's okay.
Just trying to keep you on the line here. Just trying to keep you from hanging up. Don't worry. As soon as we get these spiders, we are pursuing quest battles. At least one quest battle. So we have various Empire factions moving in over here. I should take a moment and note that the port at Erengrad is one of the most important economic ports in the world because it feeds all of this land behind. Right, there's no water access to anything east of here. Arengrad's St. Petersburg, right? Like, if you look at where it is on the map, and so it is going to have a special port building here that makes a super extra large amount of money. Okay, that's interesting. One of the massive Cathay factions has just been defeated. Orion, king in the woods and master of the wild hunt, is reborn anew. On the eve of the vernal equinox, the elite wild riders select a candidate to bear the mantle of Elven King, etc. Queen Ariel, Storms, blah, 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 Herald of the Hunt. This is not a thing that we care about. Elves are doing elf shit somewhere in Elftown, and we're going to disregard it. Yeah, so this is a particularly high-value port building. You see 800 gold generated per turn. That's more money than our gold mines make.
Wow.
And there's also a special Chaos Troll lair that can be built here. So Arengrad itself, which is not part of our necessary territories, but is adjacent to our necessary territories, is a thing that's worth considering. And as such, we have some interest in the World Walkers. Unfortunately for us, the World Walker capital is all the way up here in deep Norska, and we don't really want to go up there. Just to give you a little bit of like world, man, I really wish the fog was a little bit less aggressive. So you can see here's like the open ocean, right? There's this bay here, the Sea of Claws, into the Gulf of Kislev, over to Arengrad. Norska is north of all of that, so it's this mountainous peninsula that's separated from the mainland by this sea. And it's a huge pain to get over there. It's a huge pain to move around over there. The place is covered in Norscan raiders, which are like super magic chaos Vikings. It's just terrible. It's just a terrible place I don't want to be.
A bad time. You know, you said this has been slow going, but I mean, even though this like every game we've covered in Forex School is pretty incremental. Yeah. I don't know. I don't mind the pace here. I think that it's focused on kind of it's more focused on one sphere of the 4X's.
Okay.
Area of it.
I see what you're saying.
That it seems to move at a quicker clip and seems to be more focused, more directed, more sense of momentum for me. Whereas everything, I don't get the sense of the soup here that we got with, say, Endless Space.
Sure. Yeah, because there's one thing that is sort of like enforcing primacy over everything else. Everything hangs from that one idea mechanically. What's up? Okay. The Crooked Moon have ended their non-aggression pact with us. Don't do it. Here we have just vampire agents up here kind of scouting. Don't love that. We are below 100 remaining factions.
I see that, yeah.
So keep in mind, when we launch a Waaagh, the benefit for success is greater based on the current strength of the person we target, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're completing quests, confederations happening in places, technologies getting researched. Right when we're done global recruiting stuff for the main army, all of a sudden global recruitment gets faster. We earned ourselves a Razor Standard, which is a flag that we can give to a regiment to fly to improve their damage. And we're totally going to do that. Let's make sure that Azhag's carrying that with him. All right. So we've got our army here, recruiting our extra stinky swamp things. Let's do it. Let's do this before we do anything else on the turn, because this is going to, obviously affect how we do other things on this turn. All right, so we did not quite get the XP.
Okay.
But it will just have to do. I guess as far as research goes, no, like I said, we'll worry about it later. What I want actually is the quest tab. Not that. The quest tab. There we are. The Crown of Sorcery. So, we're going to be up against an enemy that's made up of Chaos Trolls and Chaos Warhounds and Chaos Spawn. Some kind of big Chaos Lord guy, and also other stuff. Who knows exactly what. Let's do it.
All right.
Okay, it says auto-resolve outcome, decisive victory. Maybe, who knows. You're not allowed to auto-resolve these in any case. So, we're going to give that bonus damage standard to one of our units of Biggins, and let's manually fight this quest battle I may have over-prepared us for. But it feels like you should, if you're going to do a legendary battle, you should show up with some cool monsters. Right?
Right.
I don't think I'm talking crazy here. Oh, this city is evil, even for an orc of Waagh's temperament. Yet the loot in the city is worth the risk, even if that risk is facing against chaos and the undead. The chaos forces will be attacking from within the ruins. Gork knows where the undead will be striking from. Watch the skies, for they will be full of vile things. Well, we do have a flying unit now. There's something to be said for that. And aerial combat does, it does happen. Units that can fly can engage in melee with other flying units. We're not really good at dealing with flying units in any other way. We don't have a lot of ranged weapons. We don't have a lot of arrows to shoot at them or anything, so...
Yeah.
Anything that flies, it's like Azhag catches it or it just doesn't get caught.
All right, lads. Here's the plan. We're going into this lost city, but before we can rummage, we're going to clear out all them undead things. Give them a good kicking. Once we've killed everything, no one's to go looting until I say so. This is my plan, so I get the top picks. I'm in charge now, and I need a shiny boss hat. Anyone who disobeys will get a boot up their backside. Remember, this is a cursed place. The shamans don't like it, so no messing with stuff you don't understand. If you summon something from the void, you'll have to deal with it yourself.
Alright, so let's take 1 second here just to really quickly marvel at the beauty of this wyvern. Look at him.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Look at him. What a champion. Alright. We don't know what the deal is with our enemies, really. Let's just post these catapults as far forward as we can. Kind of stretch them out like this. Okay. I have no real complicated plans here. I'm going to just move you guys forward. Are they marching on us? Are they moving at all? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
We'll leave the catapults where the catapults are then. In that case, we don't need to move the big ones quite so far up. Leave the black orcs in sort of like defense positions here. Big spiders on the sides.
Check out me weapons. Faster.
Yep. Oh, here comes some enemy reinforcements. Amabel, the undead.
So cute.
Are they?
Yeah.
I don't know that I agree. Oh, and we're being flanked. I kind of thought this might happen. Okay, so we got skeleton warriors. You know, skeletons. Some zombies. Ooh, check that out. Cairn wraiths. Very fancy. Cairn wraiths are incorporeal here, ethereal, which is problematic as far as killing them with a sword goes. But they have no armor. They don't have that much health. We'll just punch through it. It's fine. We'll just punch through it. It's fine.
It's fine.
Skeletons, skeletons, skeletons. Yeah. Azhag's up here fighting stuff in the air. Catapults are doing what catapults do. These other flying units are all trying to get down into the catapult troops. Not really a lot we can do about that, sadly. It's just kind of the way of things. You can see these Chaos Warhounds are ready to give up despite not having joined battle yet, because Chaos Warhounds are potentially, they're certainly high in the running for worst, just like broadly worst units.
I mean, what do you expect from dogs?
Now here's the thing we do need to pay attention to. This here is known as a Vargulf. It's a big angry bat monster.
Yeah.
It is going to do some harms to us. We're going to try to just sandwich it with the Orc Biggins and burn it down real fast. Oh, never mind. It's not doing the thing I thought it was doing at all. It's also, I think, just charging directly for the catapult crew, which means you guys can get back here and, yeah. All right.
They've heard about your catapults.
They do seem to have heard about the catapults. Azhag is doing a fantastic job just crunching on these guys. Okay, another thing we should talk about here. These units are... Where is it? Here we go. These units are undead. Undead units cannot be routed. They do not feel fear. They don't run away from stuff, right? They still have leadership, but when their leadership gets very low, instead of panicking and running, it disrupts the necromantic magic that is holding them in place. And so they literally start to just disintegrate. And the lower their leadership is, the worse the effect gets. Undead units have built-in fear and terror immunity, but if you do the things to them that cause leadership to drop sharply, you'll see they will just start completely falling apart. This means that you don't see retreats from undead armies. You just see the undead army fully disincorporate at some point.
That's pretty rad.
Yeah, and we're going to see that happening pretty soon over here, I think. I'm debating whether I want to do a wraparound thing with the trolls here, or whether I'd rather just have the trolls square up and receive this rear charge. To be perfectly honest with you, I think one thing I am going to do is have the catapults turn around. Because I think we've sort of punched through the majority of the dangerous units on this side.
I love that you describe your maneuvers as wraparound or sandwich. It's very cute.
Is it? I'm feeling judged.
You're not judged. It's very
Notice
adorable.
the chaos warhounds on this side. They're just gone already. We didn't even do anything. We just showed up.
Right, because you have a big spider.
All right, so we got incoming chaos spawn. These things are horrible mutant creatures.
Oh, yeah. That I don't like looking at that. Can you move the camera? I don't.
All right, there's a bunch of those coming in. They got chaos trolls, which are pretty much like our trolls. These things are they're just gonna fight and do a lot of damage. They're sort of glass cannon type units. They deal a lot of damage, but they take a lot of damage. They don't have any meaningful defenses. And that's going to be kind of the way of that. I'm going to have Azhag soul siphon the Vargulf and then come back here and help kill the Vargulf.
You know what I feel would be a terrible construction material for a cannon?
What's that?
Is glass.
Yes, that's literally the point of that phrase.
You're constantly doing explosions, so like it's be like one use.
Well, generally, you know, obviously in the phrase, the point is that if it takes any damage, it just falls apart.
Yeah. It's kind of true of early modern artillery generally, though. Once the infantry gets a hold of the cannon people, they're not firing the cannons anymore.
Yeah.
Crown whispers.
Here comes their lord, to be clear, their Chaos Lord running bravely into battle, looking like this, just a guy with a sword. It's on fire. But these orcs do not seem particularly concerned. I think they're going to have it under control. All right, we're mostly breaking it up. It's working. Yeah, this thing where all of the enemies go directly for all the flying enemies just go directly for my catapult crews is really annoying. So they also ran a unit of Vargeists down into the catapult crews, which is a sort of a different kind of bat monster. I guess they have these cool mohawks.
Ready for battle.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's all right.
Strong as steel.
You can see the Vargulf there rapidly disintegrating.
Raise your choppers.
Remember when I had a mohawk? That was a bad idea.
Yeah, they tend to be as cool as they are, and I would never say that they're not cool. They do tend to be somewhat inconvenient in real life. The realities of having a mohawk and having to like drive a car be very problematic.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
All right, so for the most part, we've defeated that front force already. I'm going to save actually pressing the Waaagh button until we are on top of the rear foes.
I made some bad hair decisions before I figured out my whole gender deal, let me tell you.
Happens to the best of us. Which I know because it happened to you.
Very sweet. You're such a sweetheart. You're doing a good job killing these things. Get those skeletons.
All right, kids, the time has come for the murders. How standard is it for military commanders to address their soldiers as kids?
So, not the most standard, but not unheard of, because you did have child soldiers throughout military history, and it's usually not great.
Check that out. It's substantially easier to use our fireball now that we can fly. Ozhag now outsizes most enemy competition pretty significantly. This poor fucking necromancer lord is gonna have a hard time beating a wyvern in single combat. As you can see here, or at least you could if you weren't texting instead of. Let's go.
I was looking up the name of a 10-year-old soldier in an American Revolutionary War.
Wow, what a good and useful thing for you to be doing instead of paying attention to the screen that is your job right now.
I am
Ready for war.
I am paying attention. I also was looking up information to share, because that's also part of my job.
You did not even see. Ugh. Terrible waste.
I'll do it again.
I can't do it again.
You're doing a good job.
Amabel Holland.
I will see it again. I will see it.
Legions!
When the video goes up, I'll watch it, and I will get back to you.
Okay, their lord,
Look at that guy going. What the hell are you doing?
the Chaos Lord fled the battlefield.
Well, you didn't have too many. You did pretty good there,
Yeah,
sweetheart.
did we over prepare? Maybe. I honestly, if we had been less prepared, we might have lost catapult units. And it sure does hurt to lose a high XP siege unit. You know, it takes a while to build up that level of accuracy and reload skill.
I think you did an excellent job.
Cannot believe a critical moment in the battle. I look over and you are just fully looking down. The thing is, like, some people can multitask and they can be like doing a thing on their phone and like looking at one thing and looking at the other thing. You, as second your phone is in your hand, you are just like fully shut off from everything else that's going on.
You're attacking an innocent Amabel.
Innocent, literally guilty. I'm attacking a guilty Amabel.
Oh no.
So yeah, overall, not too bad with the losses. Obviously, very focused in the catapult crew. When you complete one of these quest battles, part of the rewards package is usually a dramatic casualty replenishment rate increase, so that your army can recover and get back to whatever it is you're supposed to be doing on the map.
Okay.
So hopefully we'll be able to just put that back together real quick and then jump into another one of the quest battles or fighting some vampires or whatever is on the horizon for us. I can't believe you're all like, you're contractually obligated to do a battle. I'm not going to pay attention when it happens, but you do have to do it.
Sweetheart, I was paying attention. I was looking away for like 9 seconds.
Yeah? Which 9 seconds?
Apparently 9
crucial 9 seconds.
But I gotta see the giant spider. I gotta see the chaos guy run away. I gotta see the skeletons show up. I got to see the shape of the battle, the geography of it. I gotta see those fucking ugly faces from those things with the tongues. The cute bat.
I think we're gonna take. Well, yeah, we're gonna take the eat captives bonus here. Look at how much healing that does right away.
Yeah.
Okay, and we are unlocking some better regiments of renowns. Ruglud's armored orcs. We've got our crown of sorcery, enabling us to use the lore of death. Our whole army has become immune to vampiric attrition, which might be relevant soon. Lowers our miscast chance. 5,000 gold and 10% bonus casualty replenishment rate for 2 turns.
The crowd's whispering. I'm listening.
Okay, so it's going to take us 2 turns to be back at full strength then. That's going to be it's exactly enough to get us back to full.
Power.
And there we have it, the Darkest Nimbus.
Now, are you gonna take the other mission right away for the armor?
Well, we're going to heal up.
Yeah, I mean after the 2-turn healing up.
I think so, probably.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just start spending on magic. So, the ability to overcast Spirit Leech. Now, it's important to actually check what changes when you overcast the spell, because overcasting affects spells in different ways. One thing that is kind of counterintuitive with Spirit Leech is that the spell itself does not improve in any way when it is overcast. You can cast it at a greater range by overcasting it, but the functionality is identical. And so even with overcast unlocked, you usually don't. You know, through most of the battle, it's pretty easy to be in range of the enemy commander and just be leeching him over and over again. All right, so we have the same kind of deal here with Snide Tifraba. He's got the ability to grab some special, super powerful skill points that opened up when he hit 12, but these are like specializations. So you can see it's 3 different skills that each of which locks the other 2. So he can become a boss of the field, giving him a greater effect, duration, and range to his ability and a shorter cooldown. Just continually mashing all that bonus attack power into his units. We could give him Heroic Killing Blow, which allows him to dramatically increase his own attack damage for roughly, a third of the time. Or we can add dramatic improvements to his map actions, which obviously is the thing to do if you're not using him as a combat character. I think we're probably going to go Boss of the Field, right? Like, it's a very powerful effect.
Yeah.
I want to get to push the button a lot. So you're healing. You're saving up a little bit. You make a lot of money when you clear these quests as well. Okay, so Ground Peak has opened up its new slots. I still don't think we're going to build the Statue of Grom. And we have other things we need to build. I still kind of don't think we're on beast layers here. So what do we want to build? We don't have... all of our military support buildings are represented somewhere. Like, we will get to full recruitment potential soon. I'm actually going to give one of these buildings, one of these slots maybe to a squig cage, so that we can actually build it in a place where we can recruit the colossal squig. Because that's a recruitment type that we don't have available yet, and we will never get there in this settlement.
Okay.
And then also, we could go economics. We could just go for another recruitment structure. Honestly, local goblin recruitment, I think, makes a fair amount of sense. And we'll just demolish this because we're not going to need it anymore.
Now, what about the goblin recruitment made? Because the goblins are kind of shit.
Well, but the goblins, they have those poison archer units and stuff.
Oh, right.
Over here, we can continue to pursue some upgrades. In 2 turns, we got to make the big move at Kazid-Urkulas. Okay, so research available. We've gotten our way into sort of the center research nexus now. If we expand up to this side, we're looking at goblin and goblin related unit upgrades, which does include the big scary Arachnarok spider. Yeah, sneak in, Vanguard deployment for all goblin units, casualty replenishment rate up, and bonuses for giant river troll hags. Head down here for some orc improvements. Enables discouraging attacks for biggins, which reduce enemy leadership. Probably pretty good for us, actually. We use a lot of biggins in that main army. Black orcs learn to sunder armor, reducing enemy armor with each strike. Rogue Idol and Goblin Rocklobber units gain the ability to daze enemies, reducing their speed and melee defense. I think we probably want to head down this way. The Scrap Compactor generates us extra scrap per turn, leading into sort of like more upgrade-focused stuff, or upkeep-focused, rather, stuff, which gives us, obviously, extra money per turn, and it does matter. Improved rewards for successful Waaggs and bonus reputation also is a really big deal. Ooh, yeah, these are both really compelling, I think. The Goblin direction, not so much. I kind of want to push for the improved...
Okay.
What if we always had extra armies? Always. And forever. Why were you looking up the name of a 10-year-old? It's like...
I thought he had a cool name. I was wrong. We were talking about child soldiers.
You thought you were going to tell me how cool child soldiers are.
No, that's not what I meant. Oh no.
So it feels to me like the point I was going to make is that feels like a way to just really sort of bum out the energy for no reason, kind of a sabotaging move. But then you really blew my mind. Some shit that I was not expecting to hear come out of your mouth.
No, I think I think war is bad. I
Uh-oh.
think child soldiers are bad.
Skarsnik just declared war on us. This motherfucker. Okay, well, I guess it's good that we have been building up this army back here. Skarsnik, you asshole. We got this chaos force
Prague.
expending, yes, Prague. You know, the city of Prague.
You know?
That's why they make all that music you like. The chaos forces are expanding out onto the plains, which is kind of interesting, and hopefully will lead the dwarves to ignore us because they have bigger problems. It is interesting that the vampires are kind of curious about that too, it seems like. Alright, Griebitz Bootlicka, that guy that we defeated, is ready to be hired in as a lord if we want to do that. I don't it's hard for me to imagine that that's going to happen, but he can hope, I suppose. Alright, I should probably be trying to keep up my my training action. We could be gaining so much XP. And yeah, look at this. Everybody's nice and full. Alright, Vitevo, we need to go for proper defenses. So, Nagbad Crooked is approaching from the south with something of an army. So he's got a giant river troll hag himself. He's got a bunch of night goblins, 2 Arachnarok spiders. Certainly not a joke. A colossal squig, a bunch of mangler squigs, some trolls, some snotling pump wagons. It's a very strange force. I'm not really sure what to... Like, I think the thing to do is to pump this army full of biggins. And now that our global recruitment timer is down, we can global recruit biggins at 1 turn. Yeah, like we just because his army's got a lot of large in it.
Yeah.
This is not the cheapest way to get troops. And then is there any... What else do we want in this army? We gotta... I guess I could pull 2 more rock lobbers.
But
Is there also only a single
Yeah.
turn? Although they wouldn't be this turn. We could pull some stuff from the Regiment of Renown pool. You know, a Goblin Bolt Thrower is specifically an anti-large artillery piece.
okay.
I mean, I don't think I can stop them from getting Fallen King Mountain. I think that's going to happen. So we don't need to pull in the regiments of renown that we're pulling in right away. Right, these can wait a second. Yeah, I guess we're gonna finish filling the army out of the recruitment pool, the regiment of renown pool, and we'll just march on them next turn.
I'd rather eat a squeak.
Okay.
They're totally gonna take Fallen King Mountain, and I can't stop them. So, okay, the other question is Azhag coming home to deal with that?
Mr. Snappy.
I do think I'm going to run Varag down there and try to see if I can get eyes on their whole situation. Let's get a sense of your spot here. You are strength rank 14. You have no other enemies right at this moment. You're friendly and non-aggression pacted with your nearest big neighbor. Well, I gotta tell you, we could Waaagh on these guys. Their strength rank is high enough that they'd probably give us a pretty good reward if we pulled it off.
That might be all right.
Yeah, and if we did that, then maybe I do want to, like, I kind of want to have Azhag over here as a defensive measure, you know? I feel like people are less likely to attack when we have this massive army in the area, but I also don't necessarily trust Grognok Foespike to deal with such a powerful force by himself. Having two armies available would certainly increase our ability to cope with fuckery. So yeah, let's full speed it. We don't want to hit this button yet because each army's Waaagh army, the accompanying army, is building to the size that the army is when you press the button. So we want to have 20 units in this army when we hit it. So next turn will be the moment for the thing. You're just gonna maybe not spend any more money right now because it turns out we may need a little war chest. All right. Let's see what Nagbad does. I'm assuming he's going to attack that settlement right there. It's available. It's, like I said, our settlements are actually pretty insecure if people choose to attack us from the east. The whole mountain pass system is just kind of like, we are like Swiss cheese on that side. So we have to press westward to win the game, but we may have to press eastward a little bit here to not lose the game. I'm glad we took the time to update Azhag's army, though. Yeah, this is never... There's no way we're dealing any meaningful damage against this army. We do get a full accounting of them now, so they do have like a couple units, which is kind of like sort of bad goblin infantry. But it is for sure a very monster-heavy army. And here comes Skarsnik. Oh, with his own. Okay. Skarsnik is also Waaaghed? It looks like maybe. Not against me, I don't think. Amabel, it's possible that we are about to get real fucking distracted from our core focus, from our objective list. But I do think like we want to press this button before we are in position to win any victories against them, right? Because we want them represented at their highest possible strength when we call the Waaagh. All right, Azhag has become a supervisor by spending multiple turns in march stance. His army is even faster now and can see even further. Okay, they did, in fact, take the settlement. Go fight some dwarves. Your ancient enemies think to bring back their petty empire. Declare war. Show them their age is done. Now is the time of the orc. This is not... No, not right this second. Thank you. Alright, so we're going to grab, like I said, a couple units from this pool to do some work.
It was going to be the Yeah, bolt thrower.
All right, and now we're pressing the button. Where is their capital? Well, I guess I can just pick any of their cities. This is we're definitely still on a sort of a weapon strength kind of build, right? Gork is the way for us. All right, so yeah, both of our armies are potentially... See, this is interesting because this army has a Waaagh, but this army doesn't. I'm not sure if that means maybe they were raised up after Skarsnik called his Waaagh. But in any case, this is about to get very fucking messy. So we immediately were joined by 5 units of kind of nothing. I mean, it's a lot of bodies. It's a lot of total bodies. Don't turn your nose up too much at that. While Azhag was immediately joined by 5 units containing, also just kind of a lot of nothing. It's all right. The good stuff will show up in a little while. And I think this is probably where we're going to call it for today. The things have turned around, but we have declared our next attack. Completing your current Waaagh will reward you with the Bigga Boys trophy. This is, it's something. They're not the highest tier of Waaagh target, but they're pretty big. So we can see he also has like a giant and an Arachnarok. Skarsnik himself is a pretty dangerous character. He's got, magic weapons and Skarsnik's special death poison, and this is going to be a whole thing. I hope you enjoy the orc units, because it's all you're going to be seeing for a minute here.
Okay.
And with that, I think that's where we're going to call it for today. Thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time, it is just going to be a solid hour of hot green on green violence. And we'll see you then.